put this on the website. This is the opening bell for Keen on the Markets live trading room for all the unusual option activity, earnings, futures, forex, everything. And we're off. SPOOs are up 2.5. Look decently strong this morning. TJX pretty much unchanged. I do have some Chesapeake weekly calls. Chesapeake's down 23 cents today. Those are going to be probably worth what I paid now. VXX, I bought some VXX puts. Apple looking decently weak this morning. I talked about Apple getting that 454, then it was a sell up there. SPOO's up 1.5 right now. It's the market, you know, not much going on so far yet. CBS up a little bit. I have weekly Chesapeake calls. DIN up $4. Talked about a bullish trade in DIN all the way to June. I didn't take any trades in DIN. Bullish trades to June. I was going to look to see PZZA. I was going to see if there's any activity in that from the last 10 days because that, you know, had some announcement yesterday. I see Sands up about 30 cents. Las Vegas Sands up a little bit. Not too much. I'm going to take off. RWT. I've been trying to offer some RWT calls. I'm going to offer these at $1. My RWT July 20 calls, I'm going to offer them at $1. Dollar Tree, huge rally. I talked about bear put flies in Dollar Tree. Looks like retail's, you know, for the most part, it's been pretty good. Looks like retail has been pretty good. TJX now higher. I'm in a bull call spread. The 42.5, 45 bull call spread in TJX. Chesapeake's coming back here a little bit. I'm long calls, weekly calls. Long calls means short theta. Long calls mean short theta. Is AZN getting a pop here? I see some AZN up 18 cents. LUV up a little bit. I'm going to offer some of my March 2 puts in MTG at a dime. March 2 puts in MTG, I'm going to offer them at 10 cents. KSS a little bit higher. The yen moving very much higher. I was up late last night watching Sheldon Natenberg DVD. That was pretty cool, actually. I've actually never seen him, you know, speak before, but I was watching Sheldon Natenberg DVD last night. What else we got? So TJX up a little bit. Apple, you know, relative weakness. Market up. Apple down. Obviously, that shows relative weakness. No, Zynga's not popping. They bought so many calls yesterday, and I was going to buy them, and I sacked up on them. I know, I saw that. Christie signed internet gambling law. Zynga, huge buyer of the May 3 calls, and the stock sold off, and I could have got into those, and I ended up not taking a trade on those, so that's frustrating for me. Unusual option activity yesterday in Zynga. Zynga, May 3 calls were bought. Let's just see what prices are at. Stock was $3.29 at the time. I could have got into these. Let's see what price they're at right now. 80 cents. I think I could have got into them at 68. So Zynga, paper bought some May 3 calls. I did not jump on board. I should have jumped on board and should have done some trade to the long side. So I'm still long Las Vegas Sands straddles. Long Las Vegas Sands straddles. It's my biggest position I've had in about 9 months. Las Vegas Sands straddles. Apple, more weakness to the downside. So Apple does look weak this morning. As I scan the unusual option activity, I see some weekly 3.5 calls being bought in Zynga for 15 cents. From my point of view, that's pretty juicy. That's pretty expensive. So I just sold some stock in Las Vegas Sands, a small amount of stock. LVS, I just sold a small amount of stock against my position. As you guys know, I sold puts yesterday. So I sold stock now, so I'm piecing out of the straddle just a little bit. So I sold stock in LVS at 50.81 versus the May 48 puts I sold yesterday for 305. I'm offering some more stock a little bit higher. So piecing out of this trade in LVS, I didn't sell much stock. This will be now my fourth straight day. Let's say Las Vegas Sands closes right here. This will be my fourth straight day. I'll be up money in Las Vegas Sands. So making really good money. I'll be up about almost 20% of my risk on Las Vegas Sands in the course of these 4 days. So Las Vegas Sands, I'm in these May 48 straddles. This is my biggest position I've had on in about, almost a year and a half. I have my next stock offered at 51.51, but I just sold a small amount. RWT Zynga chart looks great. Looks great for a breakout. On the daily chart, it still needs to get up to here, which is, let me see. Still needs to get through 375. If it gets through 4, I think it can really shoot to the upside. If it gets through $4, it could shoot to the upside. Test the gap up to 460. I don't know if it's going to be able to get through there. If it gets through 4, it can test much higher. The Zynga chart looks strong once it broke through, 285. So 285 or 4 first, I would definitely choose 4. We talked about this the other day in Las Vegas Sands, and this is my biggest position in a year and a half. Paper bought May 52.5 calls for 205. They bought 17,000 of these. Okay, so I jumped on board and I bought these. I bought some May 48 straddles for 680, and there were 760. So huge winner in Las Vegas Sands. So Las Vegas Sands, I saw paper jump on board. They bought 17,000 May 52.5 calls for 205. So I jumped on board using unusual option activity, using a risk versus reward setup, and I jumped on board and I bought these straddles in Sands. SBAC moving up nicely. I'm still in some calls here. CHRW. CH Robinson, 5,000 calls being bought in CHRW. May 60 calls. Okay, when I look at a chart of this, I cannot put on a bullish trade when the chart looks this weak. Okay, one of the steps of the Oak Ribbon trading plan is the chart. How does this chart look? Bullish or bearish? It looks awful. So I see some paper buying some calls here. So paper bought 5,000 CHRW May 60 calls for $1.20. Bullish trade as it looks. I never know a trader's stock position on against it though. So this looks like a bullish trade. However, I'm not taking a trade in this because the chart looks so weak. God damn it. So to get back to it, in CHRW, if we look at CHRW, if we look at the chart is very bearish, right? So I cannot rationalize putting a trade in here. Doesn't mean a trade won't work. I just don't want to make a trade. I don't want to risk my money, my capital on this trade. So I see paper buying a bunch of upside calls, okay? I don't want to risk my money or my capital on this trade. Interesting trade, CHRW, I'll put it down here. Bullish activity in CHRW. So paper bought CHRW. Paper bought 5,000 CHRW. May 60 calls for $1.20. I'm not trading them. And I was going to look at CIEN, Ciena Corporation. I noticed yesterday there's some bullish activity and it's up about 25 cents. SPOOs looks strong. Apple weak. Apple continues its weakness to the downside. Down 4. It's just getting crushed here. It is just getting crushed here. TJX, my trade is basically unchanged. Chesapeake moving higher here. I'm still in some weekly calls in Chesapeake. I'm offering half of my calls in Chesapeake at 65 cents. Chesapeake, I'm long the March weekly 19.5 calls. I was going to offer some VIX, VXX April 20 puts for 65 cents. I bought these yesterday for 45 cents. So I'm offering some VXX puts. And the market looks pretty strong today. SPOO's up 6 handles. I've been continuing to play to the bull side. Cheesecake Factory, I punted some puts out yesterday in that. Yen looks strong. Pound looks strong. Market looks strong. Let's look at gold real quick. GLD. GLD looks weak, down $1. I think that the gold stocks are sell on any rally. I think there are sales on any rally. I think the commodities are sells on any rallies. I think the market's a buy on any rally. We still have not tested the opening of the year. So the market does look pretty strong. SPOO's up 7 now. Long Las Vegas Sands is my biggest position I've had in a long time. I'm long some VXX puts, long some weekly Chesapeake calls. Apple looks weak. Unusual option activity. Talked about Priceline yesterday. 4 ways to play Priceline for earnings. ESL, April 70s being bought. So bullish activity. The LCC, March, these are huge order. LCC, March 14th. LCC, March 14th. There's going to be a deal possibly with LCC. 20,000 LCC. March 19th, I'm going to jump on board and I'm going to buy some Aprils. I'm trying to buy April calls here in LCC. Paper just jumped on board and bought a bunch of calls in LCC. LCC. I'm trying to buy April calls in this. Paper just bought a bunch of calls in LCC. March 14 calls. I just bought April 14 calls in LCC for 61 cents. I bought April 14 calls in LCC for 61 cents. 20,000 lot trade. Unusual option activity in LCC. I bought calls. They just bought the 14-15 call spread for 20,000 times. So I jumped on board and I bought some April 14 calls in LCC for 61 cents. So I'm in this trade. Yeah, it's a merger possibility. So paper bought 20,000 LCC March 14-15 bull call spread for, I would have just rather see them buy the calls instead of call spreads. They could be buying call spreads to short the stock. So they bought 20,000 call spreads for 19 cents. They just bought 20,000 call spreads for 19 cents. Paper bought 20,000 LCC March 14-15 bull call spreads for 14 cents. I jumped on board. Oh, sorry. It was 19 cents. I jumped on board and I got long April 14 calls for 61 cents. I bought LCC April 14 calls for 61 cents. This is a 3MI confidence scale. So I've been trading unusual options activity a little bit more than the earnings trades. LCC, I didn't want to see it traded as a spread. I just wanted to see a big order. And these calls I bought for 61 are already moving down in value. They're worth about 57 right now, 58.5. Where's this call spread at? It's at 15 cents right now. I wish they didn't do it as a spread. Wish they just bought them outright. LCC. I jumped on some of these at 61 cents. I guess too early because they're worth about 55 right now. So I'm already down money in LCC. But if you looked at this on the chart, big tail yesterday. It was in a bull channel for a while. Getting to the top of the cloud. As long as it holds 1250, I think it's okay. And these are pretty cheap considering the merger. LCC. Big tail on the top here of the SPOOs. TJX basically unchanged here. So I'm in LCC calls. I got in, and I'm already down money in them, but I am in some LCC calls. Las Vegas Sand selling off a little bit. Big tail here. Paper bought March call spreads. I thought they just bought calls outright, so I wanted to get in right away. And then I noticed there are call spreads. That makes my conviction go down a little bit. So paper did buy call spreads, 19-cent call spreads. In theory, they could be shorting stock against these call spreads. I wish they were just buying calls. They did buy call spreads. I'm in April calls. I don't think it's a bad trade. Obviously it's going against me so far, but I'm taking a little bit of risk on this trade. I'm taking a little bit of money that I've made in LVS and putting it towards LCC. So LCC, I'm long calls, and I'm long calls in April. 61 cents on the April 14 calls in LCC. Huge buyer of a call spread. VXX, I have not taken any profits yet. VXX, I have not taken any profits yet. Apple, more weakness to the downside. They have their meeting today, shareholder meeting. I'm not sure what time it is. Do I think they're going to sell? They're going to lower the price point. Do I think they're going to do a split? I don't think so. I think Apple likes the way they are, but doesn't mean they can't. I think a split would be very good and make the stock go higher. For the average retail customer that cannot afford Apple will be able to afford Apple. If they split it, LCC, huge unusual option activity. We see more activity in CHRW. CHRW now spiking to the upside. So this is unusual option activity. I didn't take because of the chart. Stock's already up 70 cents. Look at the CHRW. Stock is surging here. Wow. And I didn't take a trade in this. And this is, these May 60 calls. I could have got in at $1.20. Let's see where they are right now. That would have been huge profits in CHRW. I did not like the daily chart. It would have worked out great. Unusual option activity in CHRW. CHRW. Let's look at these. May 60 calls were bought for 120. They're already worth 150. So that's good for 30% gains already. I did not get in this trade. Did not get in this trade. So that's going to wrap up the opening bell for Andrew Keen's King of the Market live trading room. If you guys want to watch me trade more real-time, real money, shoot me an email. I'll get you in the live trading room for free. Andrew at KeenOnTheMarket.com. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you for earnings this afternoon.